Welcome, everybody, to today's Daniel's Downloads, December 19th, 2024. Where did the year go? I know we always all say that, but holy cow, I appreciate you sticking with me through this year of Daniel's Downloads. I look back at all the ones I've covered this year, and I'm looking forward to presenting again in January. Today's statements made in this presentation are not meant to treat, cure, or diagnose a disease. Today's topic is holiday gluttony, digestive support. As I was saying just a few minutes ago before we started recording, I think this is a perfect time for this. It's food season for many people, and visiting families and things, we're trying different foods. And what a better time to talk about digestive support. We, over the months in different topics, have talked a lot about digestive issues further south, and we've talked about SIBO kits and butyric acid. I know you all hear, oh my God, here goes Daniel, butyric acid. Not going to go there, don't worry. Our GI Resolve, all these products for further south stuff. But let's talk about the basics, and we're going to relate why this is so important, fixing north as we head south. So north to south, optimizing digestion. It's kind of funny. I dug this presentation up. I cleaned it up for all of you, made it much more current. But the last time I had this PowerPoint open, and it was a much older version, was in 2017. But this slide still sticks to this day. It is the gut, our body's keystone. That component of gut health, that center stone, holds the bridge work together. Without that, everything, as I said, further south doesn't work so well, and we get all these systemic health issues. I remember, and excuse my phrase here, but when I got out of college a long time ago, my mentor said, Daniel, if they come in to the office when I was in the clinical setting, and he was an osteopath, he said, if they come into the office with hangnails to hemorrhoids and you don't know what to do for them, fix the gut. And we were a gut clinic, and I was very blessed to have those several years of experience there. But if you look at it, it's the interface to our environment. It's the outside going to the inside. And if we don't have that working optimally, we've discussed this, this, it causes a lot of problems. Look at it. It's 70% of your immune system is right there. Your gut-associated lymphatic tissue produces an example. We know these things, 2/3 of your body's serotonin. So, man, that microbiome is so important. And proper digestion and absorption are fundamental requirements of optimal health. So let's discuss that today. I think this is an area many of us are aware of, but many of us maybe forget because we go to fancier type protocols potentially. So we do have this in my protocol manual. I shouldn't say my protocol manual, our protocol manual. I was part of helping write the ideas and the products down, but I would not claim all the work. And let me ask you, I am going to do something in the chat box. Jacqueline, don't mean to throw you off here. If you do not have the 31, I believe it is, protocols in a PDF, and you want that, I can email that to you. I'm not going to send it out to everybody because I want you to want it and that you'll use it. But this is one of them. You've seen others of them. Put in the chat box to Jacqueline and she'll write it down that you would like me to send you the 31 PDFs, okay? It's going to come in one email directly to you. So here's the digestive support protocol. You see on the left, Hydrozyme or betaine plus HP. These are hydrochloric acid products for digestion. It gives you a description on the right side of how they're used. So it provides digestive support via supplemental betaine hydrochloride, pepsin, and pancreatin, along with other synergists. If a patient reaches 4 to 5 tablets of Hydrozyme, then consider switching to betaine plus HP. Betaine plus HP is more potent. It's a capsule where the Hydrozyme's a tablet. But you'll have these notes, and I'm going to send you this slide for sure. And then we're going to talk about beta TCP, one of my all-time favorites. Learned about this product long before I ever came to biotics. If we are not fitting the bile, we are causing a lot of problems. And this is the whole cascade. We're going to talk about this north to south cascade of how digestion functions. But if you just take as an example, if you're doing any kind of detox program, I don't care who you're using. I would love it for you if you use ours. And it is in our NutriClear Plus 15-day cleanses beta TCP. If you are not thinning bile and you're doing any kind of detox, there's your Herxheimer reaction because the toxins are not moving out. Think constipation, bile flow. There's so many areas that we need good bile flow. We're going to discuss those today as well. So beta TCP, bile viscosity has been associated with generalized intolerance of fatty foods. I always say this, I'm from Wisconsin. We used to have well, we still have, I just don't live there. We have the Friday night fish fries. And if you eat that Friday night greasy fish fry, delicious, and it sits there and it sits there, you might have a fatty acid intolerant and you're not absorbing your fats very well. The bile is not emulsifying the fats to absorb the fats or break them down. But we're going to go further back. We're going to talk about how important it is to fix just above that line. We'll show you. So here's a good reminder. The beginning of digestion. Step 1, slow down. Eat mindfully, chew your food. We know this. Do we tell our patients, our clients this? Do we do it ourselves? Guilty right here. I'm running around in my car visiting many of you wonderful people, and I'm eating on the run. Totally guilty. I have a family of really fast eaters. I look at their plates, I'm like, holy Toledo. And this discussion, I think, will be played back before the holidays for my entire family. Digestion begins up here, though, the cephalic phase of digestion. Gastric hormones and juices start flowing at the thought, smell, and taste and touch of food. Come on, when you smell, you're like, look at, my black lab out here, Duke, smells food, the drool starts happening, So begin your therapy there. Really, we are in we've talked about the sympathetic stressed environment. We chew fast, we eat fast, we inhale the food fast. How can you digest well? Right, here's the statement. Digestion is parasympathetic. We've talked about sympathetic, parasympathetic a lot because I love that area of nutritional science, of therapeutic nutritional science. We've talked about bringing up that parasympathetic tone. That's where digestion works. Rest and digest. Then if you go to step 2, the acidic stomach pH is required for proper digestion from the stomach down. It is a whole hormonal cascade from the stomach south. And if we don't have that proper pH, we are doing mediocre digestion. And I'm going to say this time and time again, then the south components of leaky gut and all the problems that we've talked about and you go to conferences and hear about start showing up. SIBO, what's the cause? In my opinion, partly no hydrochloric acid to kill these bugs coming in. Okay? So the building blocks, look, if we get the HCl production right and the gastrin right, and that's what happens, and then the building blocks of this, of hydrochloric acid, thiamine, zinc, and chloride. Low B vitamins equal precipitating event to low hydrochloric acid production. One of my dear mentors, look at thiamine and zinc, the first nutrients stripped out of the boxed diet. And you see they're fortified often with these. We've talked about zinc a lot and how important it is in so many avenues. But are you thinking about thiamine? You've heard me talk about thiamine, the gateway nutrient to the citric acid cycle. One of the first nutrients depleted with, we have drinkers. If you do alcohol over the holidays, thiamine, thiamine, thiamine. Give you a silver bullet on that in a minute. So here's a statement by Jonathan Wright, brilliant man in the industry, long time in this industry. When organs get older, they usually don't work as well as they did when they were younger. We don't run as fast at age 47 as we did at 27. Truth to that. Why would our stomachs be any different? As we age, that hydrochloric acid production goes down. Think of this, the amount of energy, ATP, it takes to take the hydrogen ion and the chloride ion and put them together and make hydrochloric acid takes a lot of energy. As we age, if we're energy deficient from chronic fatigue or one of those factors, or just, as we've talked about, foundational nutrition, thiamine, zinc, and things of that nature, we don't have those, you're not going to do so well. Acid reflux. This is where I'm really challenged in the general medical world of the antacids. And I'm hope we're all on the same page. If you're not, throw me a message. Happy to talk about it. But remember, the lack of hydrochloric acid results in protein putrefaction and carbohydrate fermentation. This results in the formation of lactic acid, pyruvic acid, and sulfur compounds, which will burn the stomach. This is also the belching, the bad breath. We're not digesting well. Why would stomachs become more active as we age? So common signs of low hydrochloric acid. I talked about this. Gas and bloating shortly after meals. Take that note, because we're going to compare stomach to gallbladder insufficiency, okay? And pancreatic insufficiency. So we're going to go through that line, but right here's your silver bullet. Gas and bloating shortly after a meal is most often a hydrochloric acid insufficiency. I talked about bad breath, body odor, foul-smelling stools. You are not digesting your food well. Then we can think about it further down the line. Multiple food allergies, environmental sensitivities. My first lecture out of college was with Jonathan Wright. I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And he said for chronic allergies, even in kids, food allergies, look at hydrochloric acid need. You are not breaking down the food properly, so then you get a large foreign-sized antigen trying to cross the gut lumen, causing an immune reaction or a mast cell activation reaction. Digest your food better. Indigestion, diarrhea, or constipation. Again, if we don't have the stomach at the right pH, all the signaling south does not work right. Acid reflux and excessive fullness after a meal. It sits. We have the Friday night fish fry in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It sits. That's gallbladder and hydrochloric acid. And the reason I add this at the bottom, parasites, SIBO, SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth, right? Again, many of these bugs will not survive the right acidic environment, okay? So think of that when you're thinking further south. I've got to fix up here. I'll get rid of this stuff with a SIBO kit from Biotics Research, but I need to fix the underlying upper stomach problem. So treatment, you saw it in the beginning stages under the digestive support protocol. Start with hydrozyme in the middle of the meal until you get a warm sensation. It's not the best feeling, trust me. I've done it many times. But you could work with yourself on this so you understand it. And I would bet 9 out of 10 of you listening in could benefit from one of these two products. It's just how it is. Stress, adrenal dysfunction, all these factors. We don't have the energy to.
Nice. Joy.
Can you mute that, Jacqueline, please? So, and then we have, if you go to 4 or 5 hydrozyme in the middle of a meal, all right, and you're not getting the results you want, or you need to go to 10 of them and you're getting the results you want, switch to the betaine plus HP. It says if a higher dose is required, use betaine plus HP. That's the jar that's in this household. Right here it is, ready for the holidays. You know, 1 or 2 with a big steak dinner for us. Amazing. When I travel, I was just in Las Vegas at A4M for many days. Restaurant food, this is a precautionary, what I could say, it kills parasites, bacteria, fungal coming in on our food. So the challenge is these people that have taken these antacids for so long and have really depleted hydrochloric acid function. If hydrochloric acid therapy, if you're introducing hydrozyme or betaine, and it irritates the patient from a long-standing inflammation, you know, they've taken these antacids, they've got inflammation, they don't have that mucus lining in the stomach caused by lack of HCl, consider Gastrozyme. Okay, Gastrozyme, another product that travels with me again. My little moniker for Gastrozyme is it takes the fire out of the belly. It is not designed to digest. It is designed to heal and calm down that stomach lining. So it looks like a lot, 3 tablets TID with meals, but you're calming down that inflammatory stomach that's been introduced to the antacids for so long, or you've just had some kind of raw food and you're feeling a little off. Gastrozyme is a rock star. So we talked about the additional cofactors. Zinc, so you have zinc zyme. You know, with the depletions we see nowadays in the literature and in subjective response, I'm more at 50 milligrams a day of zinc. Now, if you're going to do 50 milligrams of zinc long term, think about bringing in 1 milligram of copper eventually. Look for it in a multi for them. The Bio3BG, here's where I was going to share a little silver bullet story. So, you know, I'm a huge fan of thiamine as the gateway nutrient to the citric acid cycle. You know, that's Derek Lonsdale's book. Amazing information for your chronic fatiguers and your autonomic nervous system disruptors. But you need these building blocks, thiamine, for hydrochloric acid production. There's a nice study I saw years ago on B vitamins. These are activated B vitamins. They're a tiny little tablet the size of my pinky nail if you've never used them before. B vitamins taken throughout the day reduce the stress response in a work environment because it's the foundation. It's your building blocks to all your neurotransmitters, to cortisol, to all the brain stuff. So Bio3BG is very important. But again, if you are having a few beverages during the holidays with friends and family, be it wine or any other alcohol, have Bio3BG in your pocket because you're depleting all your B vitamins with alcohol. You won't feel so beat up the next day if you're taking Bio3BG. You know, a couple every hour, just while you're at a party, you will help yourself a lot. The reason I put Celtic sea salt in here as well is, again, we're talking foundational micronutrients for hydrochloric acid production, and then there's your chloride in there as well, as we talked about. Salt your food. Salt your food with good salt, though, please. So we've got this stomach pH thing I've talked about now for a few minutes. The chyme must be an acid pH below 4, which is very acidic. You know, nothing really should survive that environment. To initiate the rest of digestion, remember I talked about north to south, that hormonal, and then we started telling these hormones to start functioning, and we were hoping hydrochloric acid was being released at a proper level when we're eating our food. And that chyme needs to be very acidic for the next stage to happen. If it isn't that acidic, the next stage won't happen as effectively. So, a couple things we're going to go over. Pancreatic insufficiency, gallbladder insufficiency. Pancreatic insufficiency symptoms are similar to hypochlorhydria. Clinical tip. We're going to talk about it. You got to look at it. Undigested vegetable and fruit material in the stool. So, think low pancreatic function. The pancreatic enzymes are releasing effectively because we didn't have the hydrochloric acid at the right pH. So now you're not digesting those fibers as well, and you're seeing it in the stool. But note, hydrozyme has both HCl and pancreatin, so you can start there. That's a nice base to help both components. Gallbladder insufficiency. Patients with bile sludge. Check this out. This is so good. This is so good, okay? This one, it was like, there's the quote I've been looking for a while. Patients with bile sludge have impaired GI motility and delayed gastric emptying. Think of your constipated patients. I think many months ago, I talked about a child who had constipation and was at Mayo Clinic. They couldn't figure it out. And one of my dear practitioners just a few miles north of here used beta TCP, a bile thinning product. And what did we get? We got GI motility and gastric emptying. Because if it's like sludge, it should be like motor oil. Clinical conditions with high prevalence include pregnancy. Beta TCP is safe with pregnant women. Rapid weight loss and prolonged fasting. I'm going to show you other areas about gallbladder insufficiency. Possible causes. Digestion, as you've heard now probably 10 times, is north to south. Insufficient HCl will likely cause biliary insufficiency. So if that's not working and you're doing a cleanse, everything you're trying to pass through the liver, the hormones, the toxins, hit the sludge wall. You get the Herxheimer reaction, you get the headaches, the nausea, you feel like junk. This was a silver bullet just for hormonal regulation. You pass everything through there. You've got to have good bile flow. So the acid chyme is initially needed to release secretin and CCK, cholecystokinin. They cause secretion of the pancreatic lipase and contraction of the gallbladder. So again, that little component in the stomach is so important for the south stuff to work. Hydrogenated fats, hormone imbalances, sugar. I forgot to put stress in here. The lack of raw materials cause the sludge. We see a lot of sludge in people. So what does beta TCP do? Contains the nutrients that help with cholesterol to bile acid conversion. Think of that, cholesterol to bile conversion. A little segue. If you have somebody you've tried all kinds of cholesterol lowering ingredients on, I'm not a fan of lowering cholesterol too low, you know that. But if it's stuck somewhere that you don't like it as a practitioner, think of this. Think of maybe we're just not helping it pass through, or you could help it effectively pass through better. Beta TCP contains organic whole beet. Whole beet is a bile thinner. And vitamin C, taurine, and pancreatic, all designed to help thin bile and help with the cholesterol to bile acid conversion. Initially, look at 2 to 3 tablets with meals to thin that bile, okay? There are so many avenues I can think of where to use this product, but this is our holiday gluttony talk. These could all be at the kitchen counter when everybody's over and bringing, dishes over that you've not had and you want to try, and it's a fun time, but it could be a GI upset time as well. So here's your secretin and CCK. The bicarbonates and the digestive enzymes come in from the pancreatic juice, and that's then the bicarbonates get released. So that, remember that hormonal cascade, the stomach tells the secretin to happen, releases the bicarbonates, and now we take that acid chyme to a higher pH or not as acidic. And so it doesn't irritate the small intestine. If it comes in too acidic and we don't release enough bicarbonates, what are we doing? The body goes, I want to get rid of this. Patients with chronic diarrhea could be that. So there's an added product called Beta Plus. It's same as Beta TCP, but it has ox bile. And I use this for those with no gallbladder. So they've had it removed. There's a lot of those. So they have the slow drip of bile, the unregulated drip of bile. But when they have a meal, it's not enough there to emulsify their fats and help digestion. So, or tough cases of bile insufficiency. You can add that in. No gallbladder, 2 to 3 tablets with meals that contain fat. Patient compliance, they're not going to take it with every meal. But they will know, oh man, I'm having a bigger dinner tonight, and I'm going to take my Beta Plus with my meal because I don't have a gallbladder. So I'm going to go back one slide. When you have, we talked about this, hydrochloric acid insufficiency at the stomach level, look for gas and bloating soon after the meal, all right? But if you have gallbladder insufficiency, look for gas and bloating 1 to 2 hours after the meal. Later after the meal, all of a sudden you start feeling, oh geez, getting a little full feeling here, being a little gassy, a little bloating. That is an indicator for gallbladder. Right after the meal, hydrochloric acid. But if it gets through the stomach and heads further south, but you have bile insufficiency, then you're looking at gallbladder issues. So the reason we're talking about this whole north to south component is exactly this. The intestine is the largest mucosal surface in the human body, providing an interface between external environment and the host. Remember, outside, really that tube, mouth to anus, is outside, going inside. But look at why. This is what we're talking about. Two key elements governing the interplay between environmental triggers and host: intestinal permeability and intestinal mucosa defense immunity. This is what we're creating. If we don't have what we talked about further north, then this is what's happening further south. And the SIBO and the parasites and the CFO come in, and we get this whole immune activation. Look at this. Tight junctions between the intestinal cells become more permeable. Partially digested foods. That's what we just talked about. Toxins and disease-causing bacteria pass on through, causing, basically, in a nutshell, an antigen-antibody reaction. This is our cytokines causing inflammation. This is our mast cell activation. These are these food allergies we need to digest up top. So the result is an increased immune system activation locally and systemically. You've seen this slide. When we have altered gut microbiota, there's your immune activation. There's your, you can't see it so well, but there's your, in my red circle, increase in mast cells, release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. If you are going in and digesting up top better, this ultimately should not be happening. But these patients are coming to you with this case already. So we're going to touch on base on that. So these conditions are associated, as I said, with food allergy sensitivities, malabsorption, mast cell activation syndrome, autoimmune disease, the gut, migraines, and inflammatory conditions like Crohn's, colitis, etc. So this talk then segues into the one I did in July of 2024, the gut health. If you've not heard that talk, I'm giving Jacqueline another job. I'm sorry, your pen's going busy today. If you've not heard that talk and you'd like the link, I will send it to you, because this is what your patients come to you for. They already have leaky gut. They've got SIBO. They've got Crohn's, colitis, whatever it is. And you go to this program here that I talked about in July 2024. You're healing them up. But ultimately, you need to fix them further north with the program we just discussed. And there's the secondary protocol, the GI Resolve, the Immuno-GGSBI. You will get this if you signed up for the protocols that I will send you. And then there's your secondary components. You know me, butyric cal-meg. You will see this whole list in an email. All right. I hope that was nice and concise, but it's so important that when you fix south with what we showed you, the GI Resolve and things, we've talked about this many times, or whatever you're doing for the further south, you've got to go north. Or guess what? Reoccurring SIBO. You've heard about this? Reoccurring SIBO? That's why. That is why. So the first three to answer in the chat box win a bottle of Gastrozyme, because I think it's just a great Band-Aid to have around during this time. But I encourage you, my call to action today is get these for yourself, if for nobody. But if you are doing gut health protocols and you're doing and fixing them up south, you have to fix them up north. And they will go to you, well, I don't really have any problems. I don't have any symptoms. Yes, they do. They're just so used to it that belching is a normal thing for them, or constipation is a normal thing for them. And they do have symptoms. They're just so, it's just what it is. I eat like this and this is what it does. This is your job. This is your call to action. When I was in the clinical days, we sold more betaine hydrochloride to people. And they're like, the beauty of it, it works like that. 1 capsule, 2 capsules, that meal, they notice, oh, I'm not burping this meal. Oh, I'm not bloating this meal. Please take this to your patients. Take this to yourself, but take it to your patients. Put it on yourselves and make it be part of your program as you fix south, please fix north. I've given you all enough time to get into the chat box as I get off of my soapbox here. The first three to answer in the chat box, here's Gastrozyme. Are you ready? Which is more potent per single tablet or capsule? Which product is more potent, Hydrozyme or betaine plus HP? A or B? Per one serving, one tablet, one capsule, which is more potent, Hydrozyme or betaine plus HP. I hope I explained it well enough early on. Do you have winners, Jacqueline? She's got winners. I always like to announce the winners so I make it legit, because then they say, hey, you didn't ship me my product, because I make sure that gets out. I have forgotten in the past. At the bottom, I got a lot of questions too. Allie, Aaron Cox, and Izzy, you get a bottle of Gastrozyme. So that's exciting. A couple new names. So appreciate you being here. What we're going to do in January, oh my God, I didn't put the date in. I guess I didn't look at the calendar yet. I want to show you what we're seeing in the industry of some amazing lipid lab results. I'm going to get you those. But there's a new product to launch, which goes right along with this category, Motellodyzyme. Again, gut health. If that's all you did, you'd be in business forever. I get to go talk to so many of you doctors, and I hear these cases that come to you. You will be busy forever. They've been stuck in the medical wheel, and it's necessary sometimes, the medical world, but the medical wheel is not, because these patients are stuck. You will be busy forever. So I will send out the information for the link for that class. I appreciate all of you. I know it's the holiday time. It's hard to get on a class like this. And for those of you that be listening to the recording later, reach out to me. My email is dbenning@bioticsresearch.com. Text me or call me, please. You know I'm a texter. 602-690-9636. Going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to open up to the chat box if anybody had any questions, okay?